When someone burned himself and the inflamed flesh became a reddish white or white bright spot, he was to be examined by a priest. If the hair in the bright spot had turned white and the spot appeared to be deeper than the skin around it, the priest was to pronounce the man ritualistically impure with Zeret. If the priest examined it and found the blemish to lack white hair, be no lower than the skin around it, and to be faded, the priest was to quarantine the man for 7 days. On the 7th day, the priest was to re-examine the man. If the blemish had spread on the skin, the priest was to declare the man ritualistically impure with Zeret. However, if the blemish had retained its size and faded more, the priest was to declare the man ritualistically pure because it was only a scar from the burn. When a man or woman had a sore on their head, or a man had a sore in his beard, he or she was to be examined by a priest. If the sore was found to be deeper than the skin around it, and the hair in the sore had turned yellow and thin, the priest was to pronounce the man or woman ritualistically impure with Zeret of the head or beard. If a priest examined the disease-crusted area and it appeared not to be deeper than the skin around it and lacked black hair in it, the man or woman was to be quarantined for 7 days. On the 7th day, the man or woman was to be re-examined. If the sore still was not deeper than the skin around it and no yellow hair had developed in it, the man or woman was to shave except for the crusted area itself. After another quarantine of 7 days, there was no change. Then the priest was to declare him or her ritualistically pure. They were to wash their clothes and be ritualistically pure. If the crusted area had spread after his or her purification, the priest was to re-examine him or her. If it was confirmed that it had spread, the man or woman was to be declared ritualistically impure. Should there be no change in the crusted area's appearance and black hair had grown up in the sore, the priest was to declare the man or woman ritualistically pure, as the crusted area had healed. Leviticus 13:24-37. When 4 men with Zerah entered the camp of Aram, they found it to be abandoned. The evening before, the Armenians heard the sound of chariots and horses and fled, believing that King Jehoram had hired Egyptian and Hittite mercenaries. The men with Zerah entered one of the tents on the outskirts of the camp and plundered it. However, they realized that after plundering a second tent, they should inform Samaria of this development. Upon informing the gatekeepers of the city, Jehoram was informed that the enemy camp seemed to have been abandoned. After the advisors believed it to be a trick, Jehoram sent scouts out to survey the countryside. The scouts found Armenian armor and clothing strewn from the camp to the Jordan River. When the scouts informed the king, the populace of Samaria ransacked the camp of Aram. This permitted them to sell 6 quarts of fine flour and half a bushel of barley for $6.26 each. The servant who had challenged the revelation that the prophet had spoken was put in charge of the gate. However, he was trampled to death by the starving throngs. 2 Kings 7:3-20. After Yeshua had come down from the hill, large crowds followed him. Then a man afflicted with Zerah came, kneeled down in front of him, and said, "Sir, if you are willing, you can make me clean." Yeshua reached out his hand, touched him, and said, "I am willing, be cleansed." And at once he was cleansed from his Zerah. Then Yeshua said to him, "See that you tell no one, but as a testimony to the people, go and tell the Kohen to examine you and offer the sacrifice that Moshe commanded." Matthew 8:1-4.